Welcome to Leo for Leos. This is a channel featuring intuitive tarot readings for the astrological sign of Leos, Sun, Moon, and Rising. I'm a Leo as well, so that is why the channel is called Leo for Leos. Cross-watchers and fellow readers are welcome. However, I do want to give you a heads up that I read the cards as I see them and not always the way it's traditionally done. So let's get started. I'm using the Smith-Waite Tarot deck, the Centennial Edition. And this is for April 6th to the 12th. April 6th to the 12th. Technically the second week in April. What messages do you have for Leos, Sun, Moon, and Rising? From April 6th to the 12th. April 6th to the 12th. There. Alright, I just had an interruption there and I just had to take care of that. Uh-oh. I got a whole bunch of these. Oh, exactly 6 cards. Wanted to talk. Okay. It all came out all at once. Okay. Alright, so we have the Queen of Pentacles starting off the reading today. And Queen of Pentacles is a person who is well organized, who gets the job done. Okay, it's more like gracefully and in stride gets things done. And, you know, whatever she touches grows. There's a lot of growth around her. And she's very nurturing to the things that she's taking care of. It could be a business. It could be a family. But someone who takes care of and pretty much nurtures her properties, if you will, or her belongings and her friends and her family. And it's not necessarily a man or woman here. This is talking about a particular spirit that Leos are tapping into, a more nurturing kind of spirit, very gentle, but also firm enough to get the job done, firm enough to make sure that people know that she or he is in charge. Okay, so it's about really like taking the reins and being in charge. So a lot of Leos will be asked to do that this week. How they do that will be up to them. This card always shows up. And that's how I know I'm talking about, you know, the right thing, because yeah, that Five of Pentacles just keeps showing up every single reading like clockwork. And it's usually the first or second card, or it usually shows up with the first card, or if not the first card. However, it's about really feeling like you have this card of the Queen of Pentacles who is in control. And that's the face that you have outside to people, which is the kind of face that you need to present to people. But really deep down inside, late at night, there is there is doubt. There is a feeling of not scarcity necessary. Some people it is actually scarcity, but a very scared feeling that things aren't going to work out. Trepidation and even doubt is the word I really want to use. Doubt. Lots and lots of doubt about the way things are going to turn out. And I think this is something we all are going through, aren't we? About the state of our world today. But this is also on a personal level, like looking at finances and looking at the things that's going on. And this is like an ongoing thing. We've been feeling that before March. We've been feeling it pretty much all of the beginning of 2020, and we're still in that feeling. We're in that feeling state of like, hey, you know, this may not happen the way I think it's going to happen. This might not work out. And that's the reality of what we're thinking. But honestly, there's a lot of push and a lot of effort to really hold down the fort and show a different face to your friends and family. We have the King of Pentacles, okay? Really saying and pushing the idea of, again, having things under control. You have the duality to be nurturing or more stern if you have to get things done. And that's actually really a beautiful thing. I'm seeing more of the overpowering energy of, look, this is how I truly feel. I truly feel scared, but it's pushing you in a way to do things in a very entrepreneurial way. It's pushing you to think outside the box, and it's pushing you to like be more courageous about some of the things maybe you've always wanted to do but were too afraid to do. So it's bringing out something very unique in you that oh wow, we've got the Emperor. Okay. The Emperor is about really discipline and the combination of getting things done and having discipline. It's really focused on like some kind of thing that you're working on or some kind of thing that you're preserving, and you are disciplined about it, meaning like Every day you're trying to wake up at a certain time. Every evening you do like specific things. The people around you are like, you know, you expect certain things from them. And you do not, you know, they know that they should not fail you, which is good, you know. Remember to pull out the Queen of Pentacles as well, because she is a nurturing energy, and sometimes you know, with discipline you need to nurture at the same time. There must be that duality in order to keep people, even for yourself, to have that duality, so that way you know you're being nurtured and you're also getting things done. A very big emphasis on getting things done here. Oh man, look at this. The work card. You're doing something very exciting, and you're working on this idea, just plugging away at it little by little, and it's growing. So yeah, whatever you're doing, it's more very much intensely about work, and it's about building something, and it may even be about even something as basic as home chores, or like creating something unique that you've never been able to do before. For some people, it's actually carpentry. I see carpentry here. I see building things. I see building crafts, building a stockpile of product to sell as soon as things get better, and even not even waiting, but beginning the process of selling now, like building websites, and again, being more of an entrepreneur. I love this for Leos, because Leos are really, you know, natural born leaders, and they just need the right vehicle to put them in the front seat, so to speak. So yes, I'm definitely loving all of that for Leos. This is also, as I said in my last reading, this is another way to occupy your mind so it doesn't stay on the doubts, right? So in a way, the doubts are inspiring your workload. See, this is what I'm talking about. I love this, because this negative energy of like doubting and possibly other stuff that's going on outside in the world is influencing you in a big way to work on your stuff. It's quite interesting. Quite interesting. I know there's a lot of people going through some hardships right now, but this is for a particular set of Leos that have some plans that they want to put in motion, and they're deciding to focus in on something that that will be profitable. And even, it's not just being profitable either, it's also something that will be gratifying for them in the future. Because I'm seeing too that this is leading here to these, the Ten of Cups, this happiness that you want. You're working on your happiness. I've got one last card for this, and that is the Empress. And everything she touches, of course, grows. But this is also talking about really birthing something new, giving birth to something that's exciting and new to you. That's an idea that you're sparking. Like, I can get this household running smoothly if I do this particular procedure. Or so for some people, they're moving into a new home. Believe it or not, in these times, there are lots of people that were in the middle of moving before all of this. And they're like organizing their homes. So that way it's functional and it's conducive to the people who live there as well. There's tons of people who are trying to figure out how to make their businesses successful or even more successful so they can provide for their family or for themselves and their pets. It's just a very interesting time that people are getting very, they're trying to adapt. They're adapting. I love that. So we're going to move on to the Ten of Cups. The Ten of Cups is really talking about this like wonderful happiness state. This is hopes and dreams too, being fulfilled. And it's not that your hopes and dreams are being fulfilled at this moment, but this is something that you're thinking about and working on. This is what's on your mind at the moment. And so let's see, this is also inspiring you to do the things that you're doing. See, there's something. There's a feeling of wanting to rush in to whatever that it is that you're doing. Now, here's the thing. If it is something that involves something that you already have, that's already established, and just growing it, beautiful. And this is about, you can nurture those things and rush into any kind of part involving that project or that thing. But if it is to like rush into something extreme, like buying something that's really super expensive, or investing in someone's company, or well, actually investing in a company isn't terrible, but if it's like a ridiculous amount of money, if it's a big loss to you, if this doesn't work out, I would say do some research and find out exactly what is going on, because rushing in is great to get things done, right? It's really great. You've got a plan and you know what you're doing. If you don't have a plan, don't rush in. That's what I'm saying. If you don't have a plan, don't rush in. But if you have a plan, combined with discipline, combined with all of these entrepreneurial cards, man, you can get a lot of things done. Use that momentum. I think that would be my advice there. Use that momentum. Ooh, these are so good. It's like somebody's starting a business, or they're changing their business into something new. They're modifying and adapting something new. There's something newborn about this whole thing. We have these two cards next to each other, the Empress and the Fool. It's just like, it's like a newborn baby. It's so fresh and new. And exciting. Now I'm going to move on to the Justice card. The Justice card is really talking about possible legal things, legal issues, and doing things correctly, doing things the right way, making sure that what you're doing is not hurting someone else, that maybe you might need to consult with some people or any partners that you may have in your business before acting. That if you're in a household, maybe you need to consult with people within the household before changing everything. So it's just about like doing things fairly and doing things right. So whatever it is that you're doing, this is something that you want, but you may not be aware that you need to do that. So try to make sure that you have open communications with people, and that you are definitely explaining the things that you're planning on doing. So that way it's not going to create problems or dissension or animosity or any kind of revolution that you may not be expecting. So keep the communication lines open. We've got the Queen of Cups, which is the, there are a lot of emotions going on here. It's a very sensitive card, a very sensitive emotional state here. And you're bouncing between a lot of different emotions. Elation, doubt, fear, and hopefulness. These are all like opposing emotions, and there's a lot of them. There are a lot of what if this happens, what if this happens, what if that happens, what if, so many different scenarios, but you're being graceful. You're being very, very graceful to the public or to people that you know. You're handling things well, and this is great because this is the sure sign of a Leo, a leader. A leader deals with emotional trauma and problems just like everyone else, but under, you know, when people are looking at them, when people are observing them, they're observing someone who is cool and collected, and that is not only what you want to do. That is the advice from the universe. It's saying, Leos, whatever you may be feeling right now, even elation, even happiness, because you don't want to be the person who says, this horrible time is going to make my business stronger because X, Y, and Z. That sounds horrible. And a lot of people don't realize that this is not the time for boasting about what's going to happen, and saying things that may be insensitive to the people around you. Right? So we have, you know, we started out with the Justice card. And the Justice card was talking about what's fair and what's right. And so for a lot of people, that kind of emotional exuberance might seem unfair and wrong, morally wrong too. So be aware of the emotions that you project, the ones of panic and the ones of like elation, because people may not be ready for that at this point. It may be too soon to, you know, tell people about your wonderful plan to build a new business or change up something that, you know, or do something that's very, that's advantageous financially. You know, people don't want to hear about that at this point. I think, yeah, so let's see what else. I could end with that, but I just want to see one more thing. Yeah, Leos want to announce something. They want to announce something. Let's see if announcing would be a good idea. Well, I got the Death card. I need one more card to confirm. Is it okay to make an announcement right now? Is it okay to make an announcement right now? Should we be making announcements right now? Ooh. You can make the announcement if it is about helping other people. It's about giving or doing something that is going to help people during this time you can make that announcement safely without any trouble. It seems like if your plan is to actually do something that's involving a charity element or helping other people or donating your time, that is so important at this point, that if you're going to make an announcement about something you're going to do or you plan on doing, let it be of a charity nature. All right, so let's move on to the Page of Cups. Oh, and you know, with the Death card there, that's just telling me that this is going to make people see you in a new light. You're not going to be just you. You're going to be looking very different to people. Now, one other thing I'm seeing in this card, there's a charity element. Sometimes it has a way of looking down on people who are receiving the help. And I feel like if you can make it in a way where you can make people feel good and have dignity about receiving the things that you may be giving, that seems as if that would go over very well. And we're not talking about going over very well, but we're talking about mitigating or not having to deal with any drama connected with something you want to do something from your heart. You know, if you want to do something from your heart, it's, you know, you want to do it with the least amount of offense and the least amount of drama involved as possible. So you can just do your next thing. You don't have to worry about anything but just working on your next project or the next thing that you want to do. You don't want anything to get in the way of your progress, you know, fighting with people about, you know, petty things. So let's move on to the Page of Cups. The Page of Cups is telling me that this is, whatever it is that you're working on is making you feel very good, because it's dipping deeply into your creativity power set. Like whatever it is that you're really good at doing, it is dipping deeply into it, very deeply into it. And there may even be some communication about there may be some communication about you and your work. You're creating this thing. This is a time of creation. Maybe mapping out plans, writing down ideas, dreaming about the things that you want. Whatever it is that's happening, you're manifesting, actually trying to bring this into the real world. That you're trying to make this happen. And I don't see how you couldn't, with all of the amazing cards that we've had so far, with all the entrepreneurial cards and you know, essentially the green light to go if you need to. Yeah, this is great. You're making your plans a reality. Now we have the Nine of Pentacles, and the Nine of Pentacles is really about independence and doing things all by yourself, but it's also doing things with mastery and skill, and it's a purely independent card. Having your own money and having your own stuff and being your own boss. That's very important to the Leo. And it should be, because I don't need to tell you that when you're not your own independent person and other people are taking care of you, I mean, it depends. You've got to have really good people taking care of you. So it's very important for Leos to feel that independence. It's vital to our bloodstream. Let's see what else it's telling us about. So the emotional toll of really not knowing what's going to happen. There's just no a lot of things are clouded in mystery right now. Really clouded in mystery. And relationships are being, some relationships are being tested and some are growing. Some relationships are growing and getting closer and becoming more, just stronger. This is pretty incredible. And there's a lot of planning. Assessing, not planning, but there's a lot of assessing of what is going to happen here. What is going to happen? What are we going to do? A lot of people are getting together and saying, what are we going to do? Once, we're able to do a lot of the things that we can do. Some people are saying, what can we do right now? And people are coming together and pooling their resources. So that might be the case for some Leos and their significant others and their friends too. Like saying that we need to create committees and groups and spearheading these things. And laying down a foundation for something new. Something you've never done before, something absolutely fresh, something that's community-based. It's building a house here. It's building a foundation. Let's move on to the Four of Cups. With all this planning and all this stuff that's really exciting and new, there is a bit of dissatisfaction. We really need to get that magical thing that we can't get our hands on. It's something that you can't get your hands on, whether it be freedom to do the things that you want to do, or whether it just be like the same stuff we've always wanted to have, the things that we're always reaching for, like a lifelong dream. King of Cups, there's a lot of emotions really floating around next week. There may be some tears. There may be some tears. And they're not tears of complete and utter devastation. It's tears of just frustration. Tears of frustration. And, within the Leo, there is hope. There is hope within the Leo. So many yellow cards with yellow in it, indicating hope and newness, freshness, the birth of new things. It's there, but underneath it all, Leos are emotional and they just can't believe their luck. Like, how many things are happening right now, and how many things are not going the way they should. But I feel like it's not going to be a long-lasting period of upset and anger and frustration. I think in the middle of it is going to be a lot of discovery of opportunity. A discovery of opportunity in all of this. And it's very difficult to say, oh, in the middle of something, some crazy madness, there's opportunity. But Leos are going to see it. It's going to be plain as day for Leos to see these opportunities in front of them. All right, again, another yellow card. And again, the hope is incredible. There's so much hope in this reading, and let's see if we can get something from the angel answers. Okay, let's keep going. What is the message for Leos? What is the message for Leos? Leos need a good message. What is the message for Leos? Ooh. Communicate clearly. Interesting. I'm looking at this thing and this person's face looks just like mine. Sorry, I was distracted there for a minute. But communicate clearly is the message for today. Interesting. So I'm going to take a picture of it right now. There's the picture. All right, I'm going to read from the booklet that comes with the cards. Communicate clearly. This situation requires very precise and careful communication. Don't assume that others involved understand what you want or need from them. In-person discussions are preferable. But if that's not possible, make sure that your communication method is very thorough. This card can indicate that there has been a miscommunication that is creating a challenge for the parties involved. By clearing up any misunderstandings, you can heal the situation so that everyone can start moving forward again. Incredible. This is great. I don't know if you guys watched my 2020 predictions. I did talk about a healing thing, in something healing that happens in April. And I didn't know that this was going to turn out to be about communication. But yes, communication is the key. It is the key to unlocking a lot of frustration, problems, drama, because none of that really matters when you're fighting for your life and it's urgent, right? Those are petty things, and we need to kind of deal with them and make sure that they don't come about, because they don't make life spicy, or they stop life. They don't make life exciting. They stop progress. And so it's very important for my Leos out there to, whatever it is that you're planning, make sure if you have any partners or any people involved, even if it's about changing something very simple in your household, talk to your children and find out what's going on with, how they feel about this. Talk to your spouse and talk to them about how they feel about these particular things, these changes, if they're cool with that. And talk to any friends or business partners that you may be dealing with, or even affiliates that you're working closely with, and you want to change a product. Just make sure you communicate with people, like, how does this affect you? This is what I want to do. How does this affect you? Will this be a problem for you? Do you have any input? listen, also, this is very awesome because by opening up the lines of communication, you can create something that's actually going to be successful, that's actually going to work for everyone, right? So getting your input, like, hey, I'm gonna set some new rules about what people are supposed to do in the kitchen. Okay, it's very domestic kind of conversation here. But maybe by talking it out, you can get even more efficient ideas, or even more ideas to make things work better and actually get to your goal faster. Maybe someone has a brilliant nugget of ideas that can help propel your ultimate goal to fruition. You got to think about those things. So communication is the key, absolutely. So definitely bump up the communication. Well, that is the reading for today. Thank you so very much for watching, supporting, and subscribing. If you haven't, please consider doing so for Leo Intuitive Tarot readings. Be sure to hit the bell icon to be the first to know when my next video gets posted. Many blessings to you, my awesome Leos. And remember, this channel is for you and for you alone.